So for my exhibition, I made pieces of work that kind of touch on the theme of transformation of routines over time. I made 8 different pieces which use different mediums. I varied across a large range of materials. So that was really interesting. So I picked this theme because during the time when we were kind of brainstorming what we wanted to base our exhibitions off of, this was something that I was really noticing in my life at the time. And I kind of was thinking about how routines and cyclical things in my life when I was younger had really changed into something different now. And I felt like it was a really transformative time, I guess. So I thought that was a great theme to kind of base my art off of, and it worked really as a broad base to kind of dig into different, again, mediums and different ways of expressing this. Yeah, so I wanted to make something large so that it would have a lot of presence, as I think that the theme I was focusing on was really broad, and I thought that kind of the scale would help it convey that. As for the fact that it's all done in one medium, I thought that this was a really great opportunity to kind of show how one solid thing can represent a lot of different, or represent one solid thing can represent itself differently in different forms. So in the piece I used forms that were really flowy, circular, but then suddenly they turn geometric and very strict in a sense. But at the same time it's all done with pen. So yeah, I think that this was a really formal quality that can be seen as strengthening, I guess, in my piece. So that was something that I really wanted to focus on when making this. I chose pen for the whole thing because it was a medium that I hadn't really worked on a large, on large scale, and I think that the pen is usually used for really detailed small things. So I thought that using it to make detail, but on way larger of a scale than I've previously used it, was kind of very meaningful to me, and I hope that it conveyed that to other people. Yeah, like you said, depth was something that I really wanted to focus on with that piece, and so it's a three-piece paper cut. So it's the same paper cut with these leaf natural structures, but if you look at it closely, you can see that it's kind of turning with each piece as you kind of look at it from left to right. So I thought that the paper cutting would help kind of convey this depth as they make holes into the paper, but layering it with the canvas behind and the addition of different lights that come into the koi garden. I thought that you could kind of look through it and see what the background would look like and how it would look differently in different lightings. Again, kind of that change over time. And as for it turning, each time you look at it from left to right, that is representative of the cyclical nature of things and how, again, the combination of the changing shadows with the cycle. So yeah, that's kind of what that piece is about. How I create depth, I think definitely the scale of my pieces, and I think as a coherent exhibition, the different range of sizes, I've definitely focused on larger pieces as well as really small ones. I think that creates depth, and kind of seeing those together in one exhibition is a form that I use to create kind of a certain 3D effect to my art, I guess. Yeah, another one, medium, obviously. I a lot of my pieces have layerings, which is kind of an evident way to create depth. I think that it looks cool to the eye, and it's interesting to look at, so yeah. Ones, I wanted to kind of make it seem like a window, I guess, into what was behind these acrylic sheets. So there's 4 acrylic sheets. They're rotating from pink and orange, kind of in a checkered shape, and that's supposed to represent the window that you're seeing through. And the background is monochromatic, so it's black and white with these circular pieces. So Yeah, so the viewer's kind of looking at these black and white shapes through a very colorful window, I guess, and how that can affect, and like those two different materials, but as well as like tones and colors juxtaposed to each other. I thought it created a really interesting kind of like effect on how different routines and structures can be changed throughout time in different viewpoints. Yeah, so in my other works, I used forms that were kind of on the more abstract side, and if you do not know my theme, then I think maybe viewers would look at it and not exactly know initially what I'm trying to convey with it. So for this piece, I wanted to do something more, I guess, formally like clear, and make it clear that it was about humans and us people, and in this way I think that it was more like relatable to viewers, as they can imagine, like, I guess, the human that they see being themselves, which was something that I think is clear in my other pieces but not as clear as in this piece. Again, the layering thing, I drew the human in 3 different colors: black, purple, and blue. And so through color, I think that the viewers can, or the audience can kind of like connect themselves as well to different layers of that piece, which was something that I really wanted to do with one of my pieces, like kind of connect it to multiple different audiences, and I felt that I could do this through color and layers.